Om Shanti, everyone. Om Shanti and good evening. A very warm welcome to all the participants. Yet another refreshing Sunday evening talk from Brahmakumari's Shanti Sarovar. This is a refreshing and enlightening series on variety of highly beneficial topics conducted every Sunday by expert speakers from India and overseas. So today we will explore more about how to enhance emotional stability. And what is emotional stability? And so emotional stability is a vital to good life because without it you are prone to emotional weaknesses or emotional breakdowns. So how to not let people or even control your emotions, how to let go of emotions that don't make you strong, and how to be emotionally strong when you are at the weakest or when life gets rough or tough. So, to shed the light on this topic, today we have a senior faculty from Gurgaon, Sister Vidhatri. So, let's welcome Sister Vidhatri with around, I'll add her, I'll spotlight her. Om Shanti, Sister Vidhatri. So, let me give the brief introduction about Sister Vidhatri to all of you. Sister Vidhatri is an engineer, she is a metallist and a professional who found real meaning of life in spirituality and dedicated herself for cause of humanity. Since 2008, she is associated with Brahma Kumari's World Spiritual University while pursuing her BTech. Since then, she's since then she after that she has voluntarily resigned from IBM for rendering her services for through the Brahma Kumaris, imparting spiritual knowledge of Raj Yoga meditation, offering herself for services to the humanity undertaken by the organization. And she regularly conducts corporate trainings on various topics like inspirational leadership, stress management, harmonizing relationships, team building, positive thinking, time management, making work a pleasure, and lots more. She has given lectures and talks for various government organizations, ministries, corporate houses, institutions, hospitals, universities, and the list goes on and on. She has a deep understanding of Gita and its application in life and has delivered series of interactions based on Bhagavad Gita. She has also been a part of several national conferences in the capacity of a speaker and delivered 500 plus lectures. She is always enthusiastic to learn new things and explore new ideas. Her keen dedication, determination, humility, cheerfulness, optimism, dynamic personality has helped her to achieve a rich experience and broad perception of work and life. So, without doing much, let's listen from Sister Vidhatri now. So, over to Vidhatri.
Thank you, sister, and a very warm welcome to all of you to this wonderful evening talk. I'm sure you must have been a part of these talks and must have explored different aspects of our personality, how to be more optimistic and happy at present times. And today we are going to also explore our emotional side. So just let me know how many of you can say that you are emotional. You may raise your hand on Zoom. I'm sure there are many connected on the YouTube also, so you can write on the live chat. So how many of you feel that you are emotional? I can see a few hands going up. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just share with you some of my thoughts on what emotions are and how do people define emotions and what are the misconceptions about emotions and how to be more stable. So with a small presentation, I would like to share this presentation with all of you. So when I talk about emotional stability and enhancing emotional stability, we must first need to understand what are emotions, how do we say that something is stable? What is stability? And then how do we achieve emotional stability? So first of all, what are emotions and how are they created? So Google defines Google's definition. Google defines emotions as moods or our reactions that are developed, and they are mainly through an external impetus, whether it is some relationship, whether it is some circumstances, some situation, some problem, something that happens to us externally, which either makes us happy or it makes us sorrowful. So a very wide range of our responses are described as emotions, and they are linked with our biological system due with some chemicals released in the body. Now this is just an overview of what emotions are, whether it is good, whether it is bad, what is the mechanism. Let's understand that. So why do we need to understand this is, for example, and you can write your answers in the chat. I have opened my chat alongside. So one thing is, you have a television at home, right? And one day something went wrong with television. It's not working today. You might be an engineer, you might be a doctor, you might be a scholar, a doctorate. But if you want the television to work again, is it in your capacity to correct it? What will you do? If you want to make the television work, to start working again, what will you do? You are a doctor, but can you treat the television yourself? You might be an engineer, you might be a lawyer, you might be something, but can you see what's wrong with the television? No, you will call a technician, right? A technician might be a very ordinary person compared to your qualifications and degrees, might not be so learned, but he is called specially to take care of the television. He will do a minor circuit change, and minor some parts will be changed, and he'll take a few rupees and then your work is done. Why couldn't you do it yourself? Because you did not have the understanding of that television. What are the different parts? Which part might have gone wrong? You do not have that knowledge, you do not have that expertise. So it comes down to, we can understand and we can correct only that which we are aware of. If I am not aware of a television system, I cannot correct it. So you can only correct, you can only make right what you have understood, what you know, how it works. Only then you can make it right. So I want to become emotionally stronger, but I do not know what emotions are. I do not know how emotions are created. I do not know what are my emotions at this moment. I'm confused with my own emotions. I don't know whether I'm feeling happy or sad, or I don't know why is my mood off today, why am I upset today. I cannot make it right. So let us understand our inner mechanism so that I exactly come to know where the problem might be. So when I talk about emotions, from where do we create emotions? So the first thing that comes to us, which triggers the creation of not just emotion but many other things, that is information. So when I talk about external circumstances, whether it is some data that I receive, whether it is something that I listen, I hear, something that I see, something that someone tells me, something that I read, or even something that I tell myself, even that becomes an information which I internally give to myself. And what happens when information is given? What happens when information is given? Just when you're given information, for example, you've got an information that tomorrow, Monday, it's your holiday. Your organization has, or your school or your college has declared a holiday tomorrow. Now, this is an information. As soon as you get this information, what is triggered next? That is a thought. So information, when enters in my mind, it starts generating thoughts. Now, what is the relation between the quality of information and quality of thoughts? it can be easily understood. Now just visualize that there's a pond. How is a pond naturally? What words, what adjectives would you use to define a pond? There's a small pond. Just visualize, how is the pond naturally? What is its natural state? I'm sure you can write your answers in the chat. Beautiful. Yes. Right. How and what are the words you can use to define a pond? What is the characteristic of the water in the pond? It's stable. Right. Okay, so the pond, naturally, the water in it is calm, it's stable, it's cool. Yes. Now, you put a stone, you throw a pebble into that water. What happens? As soon as the pebble strikes the surface of the water, some ripples are created. Now, those ripples, the number of ripples, the number of rings, the distance to that rings travel, what is the amplitude of the ring, what is the frequency, all of this depends on the size and shape of the pebble, the velocity or the force with which it was thrown, the angle at which it touched the surface of the water. All of this determines the pattern of the ripples and the energy that the ripple carries, right? So our mind, you can think our mind to be like a pond, which is naturally stable. Just as you use the word stable to describe the natural state of the pond, similarly, our mind too naturally is stable. Now what happens, what makes it unstable is the information that comes as that pebble. As soon as the information comes in our mind receives information, it starts working on that information and starts creating its own product, which is thought. Now, the quality of thoughts will depend on, so thoughts, you can think thoughts to be those ripple waves that are created in the water, which have certain energy and which are traveling. So our thoughts is the same kind of energy, all those spiritual and vibrational energy, not the physical energy that can be measured as the ripples of water, but yes, it is a vibrational energy which it's created in the mind and it travels. And the amount of energy our thoughts carry depends largely on the shape and size of the pebble. So it's like the information, what information you have received, how frequently do you receive that information, with what force is that information given to you, whether it is positive or negative and whatsoever. And sometimes you yourself create information for yourself. So for example, in this example that I gave you, that tomorrow is a holiday, for example, for your organization or your institute or your college. Now, the moment you receive this information, you create a thought, Areva chutti. So that thought is linked to your, now what comes as soon as you receive that information, kal ghar baithenge, kal chutti hai. Now what happens? Someone has already replied. Now you start creating feelings which are associated with those thoughts. So if for you, chutti means boring, no friends, only at home alone, you might not create a feeling of happiness. But if for you, chutti means relaxation, going out with friends, then you will create the feelings of happiness. So how you map or how you understand that thought, that will determine what feelings are generated in you. Now, for example, last time also your organization or institution has declared a holiday, but due to some reasons you were made to work. You had to come. So that has been your past experience, no matter how many holidays are declared, but your work is such that you anyways have to work either from home or you have to go physically to your office. Now what happens, as soon as you get an external information, chutti, you give yourself an internal information, pehle hone do. Let me first see. Right? So now your thoughts will not be linked only with the external information because you have added your own information in that. So the total information, now that will generate a thought and that will generate a corresponding feeling. And now comes emotions. So emotions are the way you express your feelings. Someone might be too happy, will immediately pick up a phone and call someone, a friend or someone. Tomorrow is my holiday, let's plan something out. Someone will be very, internally feeling happy about it, but yes, not too verbose about that happiness. Someone will start calling someone and with a sarcasm, yeah, I have a holiday, you go and work, you enjoy your office, I'll be. So what kind of emotions, how you express your feelings. So when you start expressing your feelings, they start becoming emotions, and then your emotions will shape your attitude. There are some people who are very, very stable, and they do not really fluctuate in ups and lows of their feelings. So whether you're feeling happy, you still will put up a calm face. It's not that you're suppressing it, but you know the right channel, the right place, the right time, and the right way to express it. You will not be triggered by anything good and bad happening around you, and then it'll be as if you've lost control on yourself. So that is what is meant by a stable emotional state. It's not that you're becoming stone hearted, you're becoming cold, and you do not, it doesn't really matter whether the world goes up and down around you. It does matter to you. You also have a heart and you feel, but you know how, when, where, and in what way to express it. If you are in some gathering where it's a very official gathering, and you get a good news, you can't just be jumping around to express, and you say, oh, I'm too emotional. You can't do that. In an official gathering, you have to maintain that decorum. So you are feeling happy, but you are emotionally stable. Or if something goes wrong, you cannot just start crying and say, oh, because I care for you, I'm too emotional with this. No. At that time, that person needs your support, and you can only offer when you are stable. You will only anchor your boat to something which itself is stable. You can't anchor your boat with water which itself is flowing. You will have to anchor your boat to the shore with something, some pillar or something, so that your boat can become stable amidst all the turbulence. So only somebody who is himself, herself, or itself stable can help others at the time of instability. So that is what is meant by emotional stability. Right? So now what do you think? You can reply, you can give your answers in the chat. What do you think? Is it good to be emotional?
Wait, I phone take late.
I request all of you can put yourself on mute, and it will be better if you can write your answers in the chat, and I can read them, and the host can mute everybody. So is it good to be emotional? Understanding what an emotional state is. So it depends on the situation. That's what. To see emotional stability means to express your feelings depending on the situation. That's what is emotional stability. And when we say emotional, it means I do not have a control over my emotions, but my emotions have a control on me. And so I became emotional. So whatever were my emotions, I started to express the same. Right? So when I say the term emotion, I am emotional, it actually means that we are not able to express our feelings in the right way at the right time in the right situation, right? So now let's move forward. What happens with the emotion? Now emotion becomes the input, and it starts creating my attitude. My attitude reflects in my behavior. Then I sleep with that behavior, I get up with that behavior. The next morning it starts becoming a part of my personality. Then people will say to bade garam mizaj hai, right? So because every time I behave with them, I behave rudely, I behave with the stern face, I behave very shrewdly. So that behavior now has become a part of my personality. And then my personality is reflected in my actions. And my actions, jaisa karm karenge, as we sow, so shall we reap. So then my actions become my own destiny. Now you can see from information to destiny, it's everything, everything is within my hands. Now you would say, okay, from thoughts, feelings, emotions lie midway. That's the turning point. Because before emotions, everything was going here, and after emotions, attitude and everything, it starts reflecting in my body language, in the way I speak, in the way I behave with people. So everything then starts from inside, and emotions is the point from where my internal mechanism is reflecting outside and is trying to make changes outside in my environment. So that's the turning point, and we need stability there. And now, how can I make my emotions and my feelings and my thoughts the way I want or positive? That largely depends on information. What kind of information you expose yourself to? Are we very prone to negative information? By all means. Am I allowing every piece of information to come to me unfiltered? When you go to a buffet, when you go to a party and you're offered a buffet, you choose what to put on your plate. You can't just put your plate and everybody puts whatever you want. If you're a vegetarian, you will choose strictly a vegetarian corner, that kind of menu. You will not put the non-vegetarian thing in your plate. So you choose, you filter out. So similarly, I have to filter out and I have to take in only that information that I feel is healthy for me. For example, the present times, you will find the social media flooded with information. Every person is giving their tips how to remain healthy, how to increase your immunity. Everything and anything and everything is being tried and tested at homes as a remedy. Everybody is speaking their, beating their own drums. So you cannot waste your time and energy in, trying to see all those things, trying to, your morning starts with a negative news. Your morning starts with a waste piece of news that is not concerned to you. So what are we doing? The more information we gather, now coming back to the example of the pond. Now you have thrown a pebble and the pebble has created some ripples. Eventually the ripples will die out and the pond will become stable again, because stability is its natural nature. So it will become stable again, definitely. It cannot remain unstable forever just with one pebble. And after that, once it has become stable again, now you throw a next pebble. So when you throw a next pebble, a different pattern of ripples will be created depending on the new pebble's shape, size, velocity, force, angle and everything. Now you keep on increasing the speed of throwing the stones such that before the ripples created by the first stone dies out, they fizzle out, the next pebble is thrown. And then the next, and then the next. What will happen to the pond now? What will happen to the ripples now? Just imagine that you have thrown a pebble. Some ripples were created. Before those ripples died out, you threw another pebble. And immediately after the next pebble, you threw another pebble and another pebble. So what is happening now? Each pebble is creating its own disturbances, its own ripples. And all those ripples are superimposing on themselves and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now you don't know which particular ring belongs to which ripple, which belongs to which pebble, and you're completely confused. And if this continues, a day will come, you will say, this pond is highly unstable. Well, is it true? Is the pond unstable or you are not allowing it? So option one, the pond is unstable. Option two, the pond's natural nature is stability, but you are not allowing it to go back into its normal nature. Option one or option two? What do you feel? You see the present state that there are a lot of ripples. And looking at it, what do you think is the right way of putting up facts? First option, the pond is highly unstable. It can never be stable. Nobody can make it stable. Option two, the pond is naturally stable, but we are not allowing it to go back to its normal state because we have put in a lot of pebbles in it. Right? So option two, similarly, our mind is actually very calm, silent, peaceful, stable. It naturally is like that. But we put in so many information in that mind that we do not allow it to become stable. And that's where meditation has become the urgent need of the hour, because you need to give yourself some pause before you put in the next information, because you have to digest the first one. It doesn't increase your time, it increases your efficiency, because you have to digest the first information, bring it to some conclusion, and then you have to start on the next one. And what is not required for me is completely not to be taken like anybody, right? And nowadays, being too health conscious, everybody is doing dieting. No fried, no sweet, no oily, being, vegetable diet, fruit diet, juice diet, naturopathy, lot of things. So because you know what's good for your body, what will be digested by your body easily and what will not be digested, and it will start accumulating. There are many information around us that starts accumulating. I'm not able to digest that, but it sticks here. And every time I see that person, that sticky thing comes on the surface. So when I'm not able to digest, it leads to mental obesity, mental indigestion, and that blocks your energy from flowing freely. And that's when our attitude, our emotions, they start becoming unstable. Now there was a very old incident, that there was a metro. I mean, I'm sure you must have traveled sometimes or the other in the local trains or in the metro trains. So once there was a metro that was, people were going back from their workplaces to their homes, and at every station there were some people who were adding into the metro station, metro train. There were a few people coming out of it, but the population was more on the adding side. So at one of the stations, one person with three kids entered into the metro, and the person somehow adjusted himself and for a place to sit, but the children were not interested at all to sit. Now, what were they doing? The children, you must have experienced this sometimes, that when you are traveling in a metro, and if everybody is going back from home, what is the situation? Many of them are standing, some of them are sitting. Those who are standing, maybe they are talking to each other, they're listening to some music, they're reading some novel, they are just trying to gaze out of the metro and just waiting for the station to come anxiously. There might be some people who've managed to get a seat, they are trying to have a nap. Somebody is reading a newspaper, somebody is trying to eat a evening snack, somebody is, chatting to someone on phone. Many people doing many things if you see that whole scenario. Now when these three kids with that person, they entered, that person managed to sit and just sat down blankly with a blank face, looking down, not interested to see anybody, not even the children what they're doing. And the children, they were playing throughout the metro train. They did not have time to run, but still they were managing to run through the crowd. And in that, they were stamping on someone's feet. Somebody was hit and their food was completely spoiled. It fell on the ground. Someone's newspaper was torn. People who were trying to sleep, they got disturbed because of this noise of the children who were quarreling amongst themselves and running all around, shouting and screaming. And people who were listening to music could not do so. People who were talking to somebody on phone or somebody in the metro could not do so. So very soon, that particular compartment of the metro train got a lot of a lot of disturbance was created because of those children, and everybody started to get irritated. Now one of the persons, he came to that person who came with the kids, and assuming that he is the father, he asked him, are you the father of these kids? Are they your kids? And the person just blankly looked at the person and looked then the children and said, yes, they are my children, they're my kids. And that person then started shouting, how, what kind of father you are? Cannot you control your kids? Why don't you explain to them? And then the person, the father said, I am thinking how to explain them. What do you mean by how to explain them? They are your kids. Tell them to be quiet. It's a metro. It's a public transport. And then the father shared that actually the mother of those three kids, they had lost their mother. And he was just coming from the cremation ground, and the children were with their aunt and uncle. And after doing all the rites, he had collected the children back, and he was taking them home. And as soon as the kids will enter home, the first thing they'll ask is, Mama kahan hai? Where is our mother? And I don't know how to explain to them what has happened, that she'll never come back. Now, what do you think would have happened in that compartment? As soon as that one person came to know about this and a few more people heard them conversing, this news of what has happened with the children quickly spread in the whole metro compartment. And those very same people who were being irritated by those children's mischief, now their attitude, their emotions, their feelings completely changed. And because of the change of feelings, they started to take part in the children's mischief. Someone would, call the children and make them sit on the lap. Someone would tell them a story. Someone would give them a chocolate. So everybody there, not emotional, but they became emotionally stable. Initially, their irritation was coming on their face. They were, being irritated and everything. Now, because earlier they did not have complete information. So information, what I'm trying to say, is impacting us a lot. Not just these days it's definitely more visible, but it's always. If I am exposed to incomplete information, as in this example, in this case, if I am exposed to negative information, if I am exposed to useless waste information, I cannot remain stable, because information, whether it is incomplete or negative or false, will keep on changing, and I will become highly unstable. And when are we stable? So I want to show you these two pictures. This is the left one and this is the right one. Just let me know, left or right, which one do you think is more stable? The left one, the red rock, or the right one, the three stones kept on top of one another? Left or right, which one do you think? So if you see, okay, the right one seems more stable. Why? If you see, the left one is one single rock. One rock can easily manage itself, and there are three stones. And both the cases, they are managing themselves to be stable, right? But what is the difference? The difference why you feel the first one is not stable and the second one is more stable is because of the base. Why do you feel that the first one can topple at any time? Because the base is highly unstable. The base, it has no foundation. And the second one seems to be stable. Why? Because it is firm on the base. So our base, our foundation, what is our foundation? The foundation of our emotions, what is it? Is it our need, our desire? Is it my will, my happiness, my determination to proceed? What is my base? So I myself am the base, and everything that's around me is because I am there. So in my life, I play a central character, and everything that's around me is because I am there at the center. It's just like the seed gives rise to the roots, the shoot, the trunk, the branches, the leaves, and the twigs, and everything, the flowers, the fruits, All of they are there because the seed is there. And the moment the seed is removed, everything, you burn the seed and the tree starts falling down. No, it starts dying. So someone is my sister, my brother, my wife because I am there. If you remove yourself from that relationship, will that relationship stand? Will that task stand? So I am the central character. So for example, you are there at the center, you are the base, the foundation, and then you have different roles that you play. So if you have 10 roles, say for example, you are someone's son or daughter, you are someone's brother or sister, you are someone's wife or husband, you are someone's friend, you are someone's colleague, you are someone's senior in the same office, you're someone's junior, you belong to some religion, you have some societal responsibility or something. So by and large, one day you play 10 different roles. Now, how does the day start? Our day starts with first role, quickly moves to another. Then I get a call from my friend. Then I go to my office. Then I go meet my friends, my senior, my junior. Every now and then, every hour, every minute, sometimes our role keeps on changing. In a single day, I jump from one role to another, and then to another, and then to another. And this is what my day at the end feels like. I feel something like this, entangled in my own web of roles that I have created. And in all these, fulfilling all those roles, I lose myself. I have no time for myself. So, this is something like the first picture, the red rock on the left hand side, which had very less connection with the base. It could topple at any time. And what happened this year reflects much of that. Because we didn't have connection with ourselves, one by one in isolation, I was cut off from all the roles. One flat, one room, one dress, one menu, nothing much. I was all by myself at so many times. And this is something that I was never connected to. So then what do? Emotional instability. I cannot express my feelings because I have nobody to express my feelings to. So depression, stress, everything. Now the time is that I have to become emotionally stable, and the way to do so is, it does not matter how many things you have piled up, but if your base is strong, you can manage. So to become emotionally strong, even when you have so many things piled up, the key is to have good connection with the base, that is you yourself. So connect with the self. Have a strong foundation. Have a strong base. The base of your feelings cannot be the situations which change every moment. The base of your feelings, which will then be expressed as emotions, is your will. And what are you made up of? If I am peace, I will always be peaceful no matter what the situation is. The situation might be peaceless, that's the situation part. But I am stable because I know I am peace internally. I will not let myself be affected by the turbulence outside. This is what meditation teaches us, the third model. So we've seen the first model where I'm completely lost in the web. I want time for myself, but I cannot manage. And if I get time for myself, I don't know what to do with that time. I feel lonely. Loneliness surrounds me. And the third model is a very balanced one, a very stable one, where I am connected to each role, but I do not let one role affect the other role. Just like an actor, he might be playing role of a thief in one set, he comes out of that set, removes that costume there, comes back to his normal costume, goes into another set, plays the role of very completely opposite role, maybe of a police, and then he moves from there to another set with another costume, but in between that shift he becomes what he was before any of the roles were given to him. So I know what my roots are. I know how to connect with myself, and as demanded, I enter into each and every role, play my role with my to my best capacity, and before I go to another role, I come back. That's the pause that is required, that I was talking about. Throwing pebbles continuously into the pond will lead to an unstable state because the pond is not allowed to come back to its normal state. So meditation gives me that pause. Now you have a sentence and you have so many words in the sentence. You separate each and every word with a space. That's how you can read each word separately. Remove all those spaces. If you remove all those punctuations and you join all the alphabets together, can you make any sense out of that sentence? The length of the sentence will become shorter, but shorter sentence does not mean that you are able to read it comfortably. Your efficiency of reading that sentence will decrease. So the spaces, the punctuations were not adding to the length of the sentence, but they were adding to your readability. Similarly, when I give myself a pause, it does not need separate time. It only needs one thought, that I am not what people think me to be. I am not what situations are forcing me to be. I am a spiritual energy, a being of light. I am peaceful. I am happy. Situation might be of something that causes unhappiness, and but it cannot take away my happiness. Someone said something to me, they cannot take away my happiness. Something happened to me, something got stolen, it cannot make me unhappy. That's the firm base that I need to stand on. That's the anchor that I need to have. So this is what spirituality and meditation does for us. So when I talk about having emotional stability in relationships in life, we actually are, our life is actually a three corner figure. What do you call a figure which has three corners? What do you call that figure as? Something that has three corners, three sides, three angles. What do you call that? It's a very basic uh, primary, it's a triangle, right? Triangular figure. And which is the most stable triangle? You look from any side, but it will be the same. You approach it from any side, any angle, it will look like it will be the same. What is that kind of a triangle called? The different types of triangle, right? Acute angle triangle, obtuse angle triangle, right angle triangle. Yes, that's called equilateral triangle. So equilateral triangle means all the angles are equal, all the sides are equal. Now our life is also a kind of a triangle. To make it stable is to make it an equilateral triangle. And what are the three sides? The three corners? One is the self, my internal environment. Another is the supreme, the almighty. And third is the rest of the world. Now there's some people who are more inclined towards the self corner. Nothing to do with the supreme. It doesn't matter whether he's there or not, whether it's just in books, just in fantasy, just an imagination, or is he really existing? Who cares? This is my life, my way. Others think that it is not good. Society is orthodox. It doesn't really matter to me what others think. I will do what I want. I will be like this. I want to sleep at this time, I'll sleep. I want to eat this, I'll eat. I want this, no matter what has to be done to get it, I will take it. What do we call such people? You can easily understand. This is the triangle tilted to one corner, and it's not stable. It is not an equilateral triangle. It's not stable. We call such people self-centered. Now there are another type of people. Who am I and what do I have to do? My purpose of life? Nothing. Others, dunya jahan sapna hai. It is all imagination. Nothing exists in this world. Bas Paramatma, only Paramatma. Leave everything aside Leave all your, the responsibilities of the world, all relationships, and just go to jungles, just go to Paramatma. That also is an unstable state, because you have again shifted your focus to just one corner, ignored the rest of the two. And the third type of people, they do not have their own purpose in life. Who is God? We'll meet one day when we go to Him. How does it matter to me now? What matters to me now is, what is the trend? Okay, this is the hairstyle, I will do the same. This is the fashion, I will imbibe it the same. This is the information, let me forward it to others without even thinking what the information means to me. If everybody is doing engineering, let me also do it. If everybody is going into media, let me also follow. If all my friends have gone into the art line, let me also follow. I have no aim for myself. I don't know what I am brought for in this world. I only have to do what the rest of the people are doing so that I become one like them and I have friends around me. That also is an unstable triangle. A stable triangle means I know who I am, I'm connected to myself, I am cared by the Supreme, and I know who He is, and I know what I'm getting, the sustenance, the complete sustenance I'm getting through Him. And whatever I'm getting through Him, I am distributing it to others and receiving the same from others also. That is a balanced triangle from all sides equal. I care about myself. I have a beautiful and loving relationship with the Supreme. I'm not scared of Him. I can be very open, nothing to hide from Him. And I know what He wants from me, and I know what He's giving to me, and I know how to distribute that for the benefit of others. And whatever others have to offer me, whatever information or whatever good things they have, I am ready to accept them as they are. This creates emotional stability in life. Any one of these things missing will have and will create an instability in life. So to have a stable life, emotionally stable life, understanding how emotions are created, and I have to express my feelings in the right way, at the right time, in the right place. It's not important to always be very expressive, because sometimes those fluctuations, those ripples will die out naturally. You do not have to do anything for them. They will die out. You just have to give yourself some space to understand all this is only on the surface. If you see the pond, actually, if you see the whole 3D strata of water in the pond, the ripples are only on the surface. If you go deep down the pond, it is still, stable, calm, and composed. But I need to go within. I need to look in. I need to know that there's much more to this point than just the surface. So when I become unstable with my emotions, I am only at the surface of things. Situations come, I do not see deep inside the situation. What good does this situation bring to me? What learning does this situation bring to me? I get only lost and trapped in the surface level turbulence and start reciprocating the same. So this turbulence could be high at this moment, but if I start reciprocating and reacting in the same way, I increase the turbulence because I'm adding on my own to that disturbance. And if I allow myself to be internally calm and composed, instead of being on the surface, I connect to myself, my deeper self. Eventually, those disturbances will die out. It's not that easy to say not to do. It is very easy to do as well. We have all experimented this in our lives laboratory, but we just need to go one step in to experience who am I, and that can be done through meditation. So I invite all of you to have 2 minutes of meditation experience right now, and then we may have, if you have any questions on what's being discussed today, we can certainly have a look at those questions and I'll be happy to answer. So before we do that, let's have 2 minutes of meditation. And you can easily learn this technique of meditation by connecting to the center. I mean, I'm sure the sister will help you to tell you the technique, the method, how to connect to the center, where is the center and how you can be connected to it. But before we do that, let's have 2 minutes of meditation. So just be relaxed wherever you are. To have this experience of meditation, you need not go to any other place or you need not sit in a specific posture. Just be relaxed. Allow yourself to be more conscious about the present moment. Try to feel what you are feeling inside. Be more aware of your feelings. Be more aware of your thoughts. Create a thought that I am unique. There is something in me that is very special. I'm born with that specialty. It is in my DNA. Nothing around me can change it. Realize that uniqueness, that speciality of yours. Try to feel it yourself. Just like a candle radiates its light and warmth all around, in all directions, without any prejudices, I am radiating my uniqueness, my quality all around me. All the darkness is going away. It is diminishing, and my light is spreading all over and all around me. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. If you have any questions, please unmute your mic, unmute, and you can ask the questions directly, or you can put your questions in the chat box.
Yeah, it is said that people live in different planes, like some live in emotional plane, some live in mental plane. How can we move from emotions to higher level of thinking? Like some live in intellect level, their IQ is highly powerful, but EQ won't be that powerful. Some live in mental plane, they are emotionally stable, and even more than that, mentally also they are good without any mental health issues. And some are in spiritual plane. How can we shift from one plane to other plane, and how can we balance in all the planes, like physically, mentally, and emotionally, and spiritually also? How can we do that in sthiti?
Right. So, as you rightly said, IQ, EQ, there are some people who are good at IQ, not very profound at the emotional front. Some they are good at EQ level. Not when I say good at EQ level, it actually means emotionally stable. Being very emotional does not mean to have a high EQ, right? So that's one thing. But the third one that you said is spiritual. Now, spirituality actually means a balanced state. Spirituality itself means balance. So spirituality is not different, but when I say spiritual, it means I am using my IQ to the best possible. I may not have the same IQ as yours. So to elevate my IQ, if I'm comparing my IQ with your IQ, I cannot say to become like one like you is to elevate, because I might not be with that, I might not have that internal programming. But to the level I have, I use that to the maximum, which means there are no blockages between me and my present state, intellectual state, and my the state that I can achieve. There's no blockage. Similarly, when I say that I reach my highest EQ level, it means if I'm presently at this level of my EQ and this is my present level, yours might be this, but I cannot reach there. I can't elevate myself to there. That's not the way I am built up. This is my EQ level, but there is no blockage for me to reach from here to there. And to remove those internal blockages is what spirituality does. It allows you to see your own composition, your own properties, your own strengths, your own weaknesses. And when you see your own strengths, you know what to do in life. And when you see your own weaknesses, you see these are the blockages that are stopping me to go to the best. So, spirituality or SQ means to be connected to yourself and to exactly see what is your purpose, what are your blockages, and then you can easily reach up to your designed level of IQ and EQ. So, spirituality itself means a balanced state. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So I have got another question on the chat which asks that how to be free from emotional, I think so, emotion instability that you mean to say. Is it only through meditation or is there any other way? Okay, now let me tell you what meditation is. Meditation is to be connected to yourself and the present moment. That's meditation. When you are unconsciously not meditating consciously, but you are unconsciously just enjoying the evening drizzle, sitting in your balcony with a cup of tea and coffee in your hand, and just completely absorbed, you are unconsciously meditating. When you are listening to your favorite music, you're completely lost in it. You do not see who's passing by. You do not see who is calling you. You do not see what's there on the ground. You're simply walking. You are unconsciously meditating. So, meditation is not just this commentary that I gave. Meditation is to connect with yourself and the present moment. But when I am unconsciously meditating, I'm stopping my energy to drain in something undesirable, but I'm not gaining any energy because I'm doing it unconsciously. When you do it consciously, you know how to generate positivity in you. So, safeguarding yourself from negativity is one thing, but along with that, generating positivity, which is what you do consciously when you do Raj Yoga meditation. So, that is definitely the best way to make yourself more stable. Why? Because instability comes when you leave the present moment, you either go into the past, ye hua tha mere saath pehle bhi, or you go into the future, ye na ho jaye mere saath. So when you are in the present, you know what the present moment is and you know what should be your response because you connected to yourself. So you're connected to the present moment, you're connected to yourself, and these two are highly stable states. The moment you leave yourself and you get lost in the external environment, you lose half the stability, and then you are pulled into the past or into the future, you lose the rest of the stability. So meditation means to connect with yourself and to connect with the present moment consciously, to generate positivity, to generate stability. Okay. And this would be the last question, I suppose, because we are already at 6:30. So what we do when we can't handle the emotions, like I lost my god brother and godmother from corona, I felt drained out, feel going into depression at that moment. Okay. So when you cannot handle emotions, see, we don't talk about becoming emotionally stable when we are in the midst of turbulence. You need stability beforehand so that when something comes to you, it's like that toy we must have played with. The toy, you push it, it sways and then comes back. You must have experienced or seen those toys, right? So what I'm trying to do with meditation is, definitely at this time you need stability, and stability comes when you are completely fixed with the truth of life. The truth that who am I am not this body, not those relations, and I've lost some relation of mine, but I've not lost that soul. The soul is immortal. It has only changed its costume. A day will come when I will also change my costume. But a practice of this truth in your life will actually bring a stable foundation so that any situation comes to you will not shake you. So meditation is a cure as well as a precaution both. Cure is to see every situation with the light of truth, acceptance, and precaution to make yourself strong, so that with to make yourself strong in the terms of truth, understanding the truth, so that anything that comes to you, you're able to connect it with the truth. So definitely a loss is a loss, but that's not the end of their journey, and that's not the end of my journey. Their journey continues, but maybe at a different platform. My journey has to continue on the same platform. So we were co-passengers. They are, it's not that they have gone, they have just changed their track. I am on the same track. So this truth allows me to make them go on the new path that they have chosen for themselves and be the best on my part.
One more question, sister.
Sister,
Okay.
How the Raj Yoga meditation differ
I'm having
from
one
other meditation?
question. Equilateral triangle,
I didn't
you
get you.
referred equilateral triangle. Three
Yes.
persons got same award. Three persons got same award. Their emotions are different totally. They are working in the same organization. They have answered to the press. One person answered, I want to share with the family. Second person told, I am okay. Third person told, how to improve further, he told. Why their emotions are different? It's the same award.
Because different people, emotions are created out of feelings, and feelings are generated by thoughts. Now for information, to get an award is an information. Now for someone, that information is mapped. For example, I see a lion. I have mapped that lion with danger in my mind. So my immediate response is run away. But if somebody does not know what a lion is, they have no mapping. When they see a lion, is as if they're seeing an ant. They have no emotions. They have no feelings of fear created. They enjoy the magnificence of the lion. So similarly, I'm just giving you an extreme example to tell you that whatever feelings I create, it is how I receive that information. Now, information and award is the same, but someone maps that award with a high sense of achievement. Someone maps that award as something that they deserve. Someone maps that award with a kind of signal that you have to continue, sustain. So depending on how they have mapped that information in their mind, they will generate those thoughts, and that will be the feeling and then the emotions. So not everybody, not all of us have the same mapping. For somebody, gulab jamun would be a feast. For somebody would say gulab jamun, no, I'm diabetic, keep it away. Someone would, so different people have different emotions, different feelings, because they have different thoughts about that thing. Okay. So thank you for being together for
Sister,
this
if
session.
possible, last one question.
Okay, you have a question? Yes, please.
In India, it is said that Guru Parampara, where there are many types of meditation techniques like pranayam, and sometimes a mantra is given, and to by saying it, we could be emotionally stable. It is said. How that kind of meditations
Okay. See, now that's a tool
and
that you're giving your
Raj
mind.
Yoga, where,
Yeah, I got you.
and how
How
that kind
man,
of meditation?
yeah, how mantra chanting and Raj Yoga, how are they different? Which is better, right? That's what I think. So you need to try to ask. See, there's nothing wrong with with chanting a mantra, but chanting a mantra, you are still taking a physical support of a word to be stable. When you're not chanting, then there's no guarantee that you will be stable. So mantra, like we say swatantra. So tantra means, you know, a support, right? A kind of thing that you engage yourself with. So when I say mantra, mantra is just a support system that I give to my mind that better than thinking about something else, think about this mantra. Keep repeating this mantra so that you engage your mind and you stop it to deviate to some other thing that might be undesirous. You engage your physical energy by saying something, and then you definitely will not think about anything else when you're speaking something or when you're repeating it in your mind. But when you're not thinking about that, you haven't trained your mind to be positive without that mantra. That mantra is the support which is draining your energy, sorry, which is stopping yourself to drain that energy into a negative direction. But again, no positive energy being received from that. So I have to train my mind that without any support, I can still be happy, I can still be stable. So I have to make it my natural nature, not just with an impetus. I have to make it my internal nature. That is what Raj Yoga does. It's worth exploring, and I would request Sister who's hosting
Thank
from
you, sister. Thank you so
Shanti
much.
Sarovar to give you more information about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sister. Thank you so much, sister, for this empowering and informative, engaging talk. Very beautifully explained inner mechanism from information to destiny and how to create stability at all levels like emotions, relationships, and how to connect with the self. And meditation is a cure as well as the precaution. So very beautifully explained. I hope all the participants have benefited with this session. So thank you so much, sister, once again.
Thank you.
And so you can also, so we have some announcements for you all. You can subscribe to our Shanti Saror Hyderabad YouTube channel to watch our old session recordings as well as keep an update on the future sessions. So watch out for our future communications and keep connecting with us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And every month, first week of every month, we have our Raj Yoga meditation course online. So if you when you subscribe to our when you go to our website shantisaror.org, you can subscribe and you will get mails and messages from Shanti Saror regarding the details of the program. So you can join us online as we have this corona situation, so we don't have uh, we don't center has not yet opened yet, so we have all arranged YouTube sessions for you all, Zoom and YouTube sessions, so you can see us on YouTube or Zoom. And thank you all. I think we are a little over time and we appreciate the patience of all the participants. And thank you, sister, for such a wonderful session. It was highly been appreciated by all the participants. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. We will meet you again on Sunday at the same time. You can also invite your friends and family to the online Sunday evening talk. Om Shanti. See you again next Sunday. Thank you.